The Biden-era Arctic frost probe will be back under the microscope on Capitol Hill this week. A Senate Judiciary subcommittee set to dig into special counsel Jack Smith's investigations of the 2020 election and the January 6th riot. Those probes drawing intense scrutiny over how far federal investigators went, with the Biden-era FBI collecting phone data from hundreds of Republicans. Here's Senator Marsha Blackburn pressing one former FBI agent.
Are you okay with it being weaponized to go after conservatives? Does that suit you? Did you think that was a justifiable use of taxpayer money and time?
Senator, absolutely not. And let me just tell you, politics in the FBI workspace are absent. Nobody understands or knows
it's absent?
Or cares.
Do you want to own
finish,
that
Senator,
statement?
if
No,
you can.
it's my time. Ms. Cleveland, what do you have to say about that?
That's laughable.
It is laughable.
It is absolutely laughable that it has no place after everything we saw with Crossfire Hurricane, after what we're starting to see in the Arctic frost from the prohibitive files. It might be that you worked with the very few who are not political, but it is replete everywhere.
And now new questions about special counsel Jack Smith over alleged ties to judges in Trump-related cases, including Obama appointee Judge Beryl Howell. Let's bring in the senator you just saw, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and candidate for Tennessee governor as well. What is the bottom line you're hoping to get to here, Senator?
What we would like to do is have our discovery in these hearings, including the one that I chaired, lead us to Jack Smith coming before us and putting him under oath and holding him to account for the weaponization, the worst weaponization of the bureaucracy in our nation's history. And as I talk to Tennesseans, John, they want to see people indicted. They want to see them on trial. They want them to be locked up. They want them in jail because they know this is much worse than Watergate. It was much more expansive. Not only was it the 8 senators and 400 conservatives, it was President Trump and his family, and everything was done as the end justifying the means because they wanted to stop President Trump and they wanted to go after and discredit any conservatives that were supportive of President Trump.
Yeah, you mentioned you are one of the 8 U.S. senators whose phone records were secretly surveilled by the FBI, and it just has me wondering, I mean, if they can surveil 8 U.S. senators, you know, what's the average American supposed to be worried about?
And that is why people want us to push this forward so that we complete discovery, which there are lawsuits that are being filed. They want us to complete digging into what kind of banking records, telecom records. Did they also go after content in emails and text messages? Did they listen in and surveil some of these phone calls? Because the commonality of everyone that was hit in Arctic frost is that we were talking with President Trump, we were supportive of President Trump, we wanted to make certain that he was going to win that election, we were supportive of policies of President Trump, and it's not like they were going after people of the other party. It was all Republicans supportive of President Donald Trump.
And there are indications that the Obama appointed judge who oversaw some of this Arctic frost investigation, I'm sorry, the Jack Smith investigation,
that's right,
that he very much had, the judge had very much had a thumb on the scales of justice here.
Oh, yes, indeed. This was not an ordinary law enforcement operation, and we know that. And in our hearing on Tuesday, we're going to dig a little bit more into that and look at how they used investigative demands and gag orders to go after all of these records. And John, all of this helps to build out exactly the depth of the surveillance that was taking place and all the content that they were trying to extract and how they planned to use that. Remember, they had said they were going to stop President Trump. So this is the operation they set up. And you know, there is a question as to whether or not Jack Smith was actually legally appointed to do special counsel work. So as we get through this, as we hold our hearings, we build out that record, all the information will eventually go to DOJ. It will be up to DOJ to carry out the indictments, to prepare for the trial, to move through the trial. And indeed, those of us who have faced this surveillance, and for me, it wasn't just once, it was in 2016 and the transition also, but to make certain that there is justice for the more than 400 conservatives and justice for President Trump and his family as we move through this investigation.
I want to turn to another investigation that could get underway in the House of Representatives. They're wondering how it is that Representative Ilhan Omar claimed at one point that she was worth maybe as much as $30 million along with her husband, and now all of a sudden says, oops, that was an accounting mistake, it was an oversight, and really $95,000 I think might be the peak. Listen to Representative Tom Emmer on this.
Ilhan Omar is a complete fraud. It's amazing what kind of a con artist this woman is. She went from $65,000 net worth that she was reporting on her congressional disclosures to reporting over $30 million in net worth in just a few years. And guess what? Now she comes out and says, that was a mistake on our disclosures. I just took a quick look at it and missed it. You know, not only should her accountant be fired, but that girl should be fired, and she does not deserve to be in Congress.
From the point of view of a United States senator, do you have anything to say about Ilhan Omar's situation and what should happen?
And I'm going to leave that to the House Ethics Committee. That is going to be up to them to investigate. We know that there are so many questions that are swirling around her, whether it is about how she came to the country, her marriages, and we're going to leave all of that work to the House Ethics Committee. They've got a full plate of issues in front of them.
All right, Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn, thank you.
You got it.
As the mystery of the missing and dead U.S. scientists grows, Fox News is speaking with a former UK counterintelligence officer who had been in touch with one of those researchers.
Steve.
Shh, John, they say with Lavazza, you'll become a maestro.
Yeah, maestro of coffee.
So it has nothing to do with music?
It doesn't.
Just coffee.
Coffee.
Shall I go again?
Please don't.
Enjoy the pleasure of a masterfully crafted coffee and feel like an Italian barista at home.
Just don't
This is my
do
coffee.
it.
Discover Lavazza blends now.
I need that one. That is my G flat.
When I look at this picture, I feel failure. I've tried keto, I've tried fasting. I needed to do something. I came across LifeMD, down 182 pounds in 14 months. This is the best decision in my entire life.
Get Zepbound, Wegovy, and the new Wegovy pill at joinlifemd.com.
Kayla just discovered that on Vinted, her closet can make her extra cash.